Today is one of the days, you can't make this up. I went out to go get a ride, got the bike pre-flighted, and found a nail in a tire. It's the second time in 1,500 miles that I've had to replace the tire on this bike. And they're not two nails exactly the same either, so I know a squirrel didn't come and put one in there. But anyway, I did get the tire changed out today, got to see my friends down at Circle Cycle. They had a tire in stock. I decided I want to try the top of the line Michelin 5, Pilot Power 5, and these tires are significantly more money than the ones that the Michelin 2s, but they're supposed to be, according to everybody, really worth the extra money. We will find out as soon as we get back out on the open road. But today was a great day in the shop, and we'll share our tire change experience with you. So we wake up this morning and it looks like the weather gods that have given us a few really nice days, beautiful for the last couple of rides. And all of a sudden last night it went down below freezing again, and it's really still freezing cold out there. So on a day like today, I like to try to figure out with Karen what we could do, because we could do our errands in the morning, ride in the afternoon, instead of riding when it's freezing cold and then doing errands when it's the best part of the day. So it's going to require a little planning, and Karen and I have gotten pretty good at doing that. Now, I did notice when I was cleaning the bike after the last ride and trying to get some of the salt off it, I noticed a couple spots on the exhaust system where the salt has really taken a, because don't forget the exhaust is really hot, and this salty stuff that comes up off the road, it makes little pock marks in the exhaust. Well, I can grind them away, not going to do it today, but that'll be a nice thing for the next rainy day, or the next day I can work. I still have to buff out Joe's parts. That'll be a good thing to do on a day that I'm buffing and have all the buffers out and everything. But keeping the bike clean on an ongoing basis, really, really important. Now, I try like crazy to keep the bikes whistle clean in the winter and look them over on an ongoing basis. Never just walk away and leave the bike sitting there. So this is what's happened. We've dropped down. It's 34 degrees today. Back, it was really nice yesterday and the day before, but it's supposed to go up to 50 later in the day, so we're just going to replan our day. And by checking the bike constantly, a lot of times I find something that makes me crazy. And as I'm checking the bike over this morning, look what I find. And you see all the salt and everything on the road? Well, there's a nail in a tire. I don't know how lucky I can be. This bike, I'll pull it out, of course, and this is a relatively new tire. I don't like patching tires. I'll order a tire today. But this is, when you check a bike over constantly, this is the kind of stuff you find. And it's a lot better to find it in the garage here than 100 miles from home. Oh, look at the size of this nail coming out of the tire. You believe this? So there you go. There's a $150 nail right there. Now in my case, if I get to ride this afternoon, I'll just ride one of the other bikes, but unfortunately for me, this is the second flat tire in 5,000 miles. This bike is a flat tire maven. It's the only problem I've had with the bike. Now it's funny, I haven't had a flat tire in so many years. Probably in 10 years I haven't had one flat tire, and I've had two in 5,000 miles. Now I'll take the old tire off. That old tire doesn't have a lot of miles on it, and I'll probably give it to somebody who would like to have that tire, but I don't want to have a tire with a patch on it. Not on a bike that I'm riding far from home and I'm by myself, so it's just me. So the day starts off in an unpredictable way, but boy, I always count that I have been saved by the bell, and I'm just going to take that tire off, give it to somebody, or order a tire today. By next weekend I'll be back riding. So this is what musical chairs is all about. You start a day off like this, but I always feel like I'm very lucky. Did not get stranded out on the road today. And it is one of the reasons I like to have more than one bike, because if it warms up this afternoon, I really would like to get a ride. But Karen has changed the plan already. So we're going to do our errands early this morning, and well, we're going to check the temperature again. I'll just see how far it's going to go up, but I don't have any great feelings today that it's going to be a warm day anyway. And I always say, that's what I like about my life. every day is an adventure. No Groundhog Days. So we got to call in one of the backup quarterbacks. I'm not sure they like being called backup quarterbacks. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll pre-flight the bike and get it all ready. So if this afternoon it warms up a little, we get a short ride. And if not, we certainly have other. And Karen wants to get these errands out of the way early this morning. So good for us. We'll get it all done. So as I'm pre-flighting up the 650, I'll have this all ready. But again, if it doesn't really warm up today, we've already eaten our dessert. We've already had a gap in the weather that was very unpredictable, and it really worked in our favor. We did get some rides in. Now it's really ironic, both of those flats that I had, both on the MT-09, both on the rear tire. That's pretty, I don't know how you could make that up. Anyway, we're pre-flighted up and just waiting to see what Karen's plans are. I know she's got errands. She wants to buy seeds. She wants to work on a farm. And if it doesn't warm up this afternoon, that's okay too. But we will not be getting stuck on the open road with a flat tire. I start off every day making sure the bike is clean. Haven't ridden this bike in a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and it needed a good dusting and cleaning. Well, I didn't know if the weather was going to change or not, but the plans changed many times over the course of this day. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go. But first we have to see what Karen would like to do, and I would like to ride in the afternoon if it warms up a little. It's really still cold out here. I got spoiled the last couple of days. It was really in the 40s when I came out here, and it's not in the 40s right now, believe me. Well, I guess the lesson of the day is just always pre-flight the bike. I know a lot of people don't. I do. I'm glad I do. So we made our plan. I just want to make sure everything's under a heating vent here. I'm going to try to head out to Pete at Circle Cycle, see if he's got a tire in stock. I can get it and maybe change it out tonight or tomorrow or whenever. And we are going to have some very cold days coming once again, but in the meantime, everything's drying under the heating vent. It'll make that buffing out job so much better. And I've got tires here, but obviously none of them are the right size. So, and the MT-09, any bike that has traction control, you've got to use the tire the sizes that match, or it throws off the traction control and the ABS and everything. So anyway, I hope Pete will have a tire. So as we get ready to go, we need one more cup of coffee to make this day complete. So I wonder if the birds know who put that nail in my tire. Hey, but I'm just happy. Luciano's happy. He doesn't have to come rescue me with a flat tire. So our first stop, as it is many times, is good old Lowe's. Luckily we live right near a Lowe's. Now this is funny. I park in a Lowe's parking lot. I'm one space. Within the space, the next space over has a nail. Ah, screw whatever the hell it is. How to start off a 30-degree day. So look, I'm doing the world a favor. Some guy with an MT-09 will not get a flat. There's my mitzvah for the day. Take a wild guess what we're buying at Lowe's today. Spring is in the air for sure. The only thing is nobody told the weatherman the temperature. Okay, we're home from Circle Cycle. We decided to get try one of the new Michelin 5 tires. He had one in stock, and we'll mount that up this afternoon. It's really never got warm today. So I've never had a Michelin 5, and this is going to give me a chance to see how this is going to be, if it's appropriate for this, the way this worked. It's the right size, so the traction control won't be fooled with, but we'll see. It's a Michelin 5. Now it's a funny thing. I see this Michelin supposedly doesn't have a balancing dot. I see this one has a balancing dot. Maybe they've changed their I don't know. See, you never know. You really can't believe anything, for crying out loud, you hear. You got to do the test yourself. Anyway, I have Michelin tires on all of my vehicles that I care about so far. So it is a 2-compound tire, and because this day, look at those church bells. Because this day never played out the way I wanted to, I think what I'm going to do is take this down, hang it by a heating vent, and after I have another cup of coffee, I'm gonna pull off that wheel and get rid of that tire with a hole in it. I'm sure Luciano will patch it and use it. Still a good tire. And according to the date, that we still have a totally fresh tire. Oh, that's good. Well, I always like to try new stuff. It's gonna give me a chance. So you never can tell how any day is going to play out, and this one looks like it's going off the rails, but I really want to get this mounted up, and because it's not getting any warmer out there, it doesn't seem like it. We'll see. I'll have that mounted up in a couple hours. And the whole trick to everything is get that tire hot. The warmer the better. Live in sunny California, you never have trouble mounting tires. So we'll be ready to mount the new front tire in the next couple of days. We already get that one in stock. This one mounted up beautifully, balanced beautifully, and of course it's a Michelin, so well, we'll find out. But we'll find out about this balance thing too with that red dot. But we do have a Michelin 5, and this is the first one I've used. And I still have a Sport Demon to mount. I've got the front tire. Geez, it just never ends. Just never ends. So the next step is we got to go pull that tire. And because we got this bike all prepped up for a ride, I'll put him out in the driveway and give myself plenty of room to work here. Make it a luxury tire change. Well, depending on how long this tire change takes, we may even get a ride this afternoon, but I'm not worried. I want to get the tire changed. Now, it seems like I just changed that tire not that long ago, but this is the average luck. Now, the other problem is, and I spoke to Kevin at Circle Cycle when I picked up the tire, and he said he's known several people haven't had a flat for 20 years and then have two within a month. Well, you know, it's a random thing. It's like hitting a lottery. Only this is like the flat tire lottery I've been hitting. But in a couple hours, we'll have a new tire on that bike. I know a lot of people, I know Luciano will put a patch in it. He'll get another 2,000 or 3,000 miles, maybe 4,000 out of it. But you know what? I don't want it. It's just not for me, and I think the few times I've been stuck away from home with things, and I always have a tire repair kit, that doesn't even count. To me, it's just not worth it. It's just me. I'd rather spend my money on new tires than on gefilte fish sandwiches. Oh, almost every bike I ever work on, it's just a lot easier, even if you don't have to. It just makes it a lot easier to get the caliper up out of the way. Get it hanging up by a zip tie, or just put out of the road. In this case, there's two bolts. One's an Allen bolt, one looks like a 12. I just did this. It seems like it's my lucky day. I just did this. There's traction control wires and things here, so I'm going to try to be very delicate, not scratch anything, and not screw up any of the wires. Any of this. It's just a little bit more delicate than a bike without traction control. And by the way, it was very important to maintain the exact size of tire. If you put a bigger tire, it screws up, and Vlad told me he's already done it. The ABS and the traction control get confused. And I'm confused enough. I don't need my traction control confused. Okay, so with those bolts out, this can come up very carefully, and I can see the wear on the pads is negligible. And I want to put a rag or something in here. Always trying to protect, don't scratch anything up. I guess that would work, or yeah, that'll be fine. And that wire, now when that piece comes off, I don't want to put a stress on that wire. Luciano found out that wire is $200. Here, and fast forward just to save some time. Actually, the MT-09 rear wheel is one of the easier ones in my motorcycle collection to take apart and replace. It goes pretty well, and there's only a few little tips, and I'll share them, that'll make it better. Now I'll give that wheel a quick wipe down, and we'll be ready to bring it in a cellar where it's a lot warmer. and let that warm up. Now, being really honest, I can't wait to turn these wheels probably next winter into a set of custom wheels, get rid of all those casting marks, just like we did on several of the other bikes, even the R1. But I think I can do a big improvement on those wheels, and it'll add a really nice touch to the bike. And when I do that, I'll make a lot of concept sketches with what I want to do, different colors maybe. But it's all in the future, probably next winter. Now, one thing will work to my favor is I already got in the cellar all the tire changing tools. And why I love inventory, I already have the Curvy Girl 90-degree valve stem, so I can get that in. That'll make it a lot more convenient to check the air pressure. And I've, as you probably know, I check it every time I ride the bike. This is the Motion Pro bead breaker that we've been using the last couple of tires. It seems like the hardest part of this on some of the older bike rims is to get that started, but on modern bikes, I don't know if it has to do with the rim shape or what. That seems to work just fine. And you've got to go around the bead, around, but it's already down. Flip it over and do the other side. Tool works especially well on modern rims, and you do a lot less damage than you do in the big Harbor Freight bead break. The Windex makes this easier, but the real thing is, if you could put this tire out in the sun and warm it up, it'd come off a lot easier. If it's really gonna, these rims I'm not really concerned with because I'm gonna paint them, but if these were my precious custom rims, I would cut the tire off. In this case, this will not be a problem. Next step, just clean everything up as best we can while we got it apart. Pull out the tire valve. What's going to happen, this is just great that I have these in inventory, because from this point on, it'll be wonderful being able to have those Curvy Girls. We have had such good luck with Curvy Girls. And we also get to find out if these Michelin 5 tires are what they're claiming to be. They claim to be really good. I know several people that have them, and everybody seems to like them. So, but I always like to do my own test. I never like to believe anything, especially stuff that it's subjective. So the bike came with Sport Max Dunlops. That was about 3,000 miles into it, 3,500 I think, to be exact. That we picked up a nail, slow leak, and made it home. And now, what a miracle of miracles to find that right now. Now, this is a good tire. If somebody was going to use it for a track day, this would be fine, because you're never going to be that far from home. But I am just of the belief that, having been towed in many times, that's really going to be, well, there's a lot of rubber left on this, so I hope Luciano can use it. Since I'm not going to reuse this, I just cut it with a razor blade. That'll go in with my spare valve parts. Now, if I knew I was going to do this today, I would have worn my Curvy Girl shirt Julie graciously gave me, but these, now, last time I did use a drop of Loctite. I'm not sure I need it. But if you were going to think about pulling these out and putting them in another rim at some point in time, you might not want to do that. And it's important you don't over tighten them. Hand tight that you just can't move this when you're putting air in. But these make checking the air so much better. And they encourage you to check the air rather than the stock one. You got to have octopus fingers to get in there. Now, I always like to check the air from the side of the bike, because the bike's leaning this way, just makes it easier. And as I said, I am fanatical about the air, because I went out one day, and in fact, this just happened to Luciano too, I think. And the front tire was low on air. I didn't really notice it till the first time I really leaned on it, and the front end, it gives you a reason to be awake. Anyway, I'll get the wrench and tighten these. In the past, I have never used Loctite. I've been real careful about not over tightening. But since they recommend it, and I've been trying. Actually, I got on the GS. I did put some on, if I remember right. But anyway, really not important. But what is important, this makes checking the air so much easier. And if you call Curvy Girl, just talk to Julie and tell him you watch Windy videos, and it works for me. As I use of course, a wrench. I have a socket, but I don't want to use a socket. And what I do, I use this in between my two fingers, and then about as tight as I can make it with two fingers, and I can't move that valve now. But what I don't want to do is put a wrench on this or a big socket, because it is aluminum, and even though it seals on that little rubber up on the top, so of course I cleaned this real good before I put the curvy girl in. So, and that's a really critical thing. It's something that's important. Well, even though that's up by a heating vent, I'm not sure it's warm enough until I actually go to mount it. And thank you, Bob Navola, for donating this. This is the tire mounting lube. I've used it, but if I don't have any, Dawn seems to work just as well. I really wish everything was a little bit warmer than it is right now, but right now, you know, beggars can't be choosers. It was, last time I looked, it was 40 degrees, and probably by this afternoon late, it'll warm up, but right now, it's not a really nice day. So it was a good thing to get this done. And I've heard all good things about Michelin 5s, but we're going to find out. And I'll report. I report honestly. You know, if they wear out way too fast, I'll know. You know, don't buy them again. And if I start getting little step outs on acceleration, but they are 2 compound tires, and they are, as I said, several of my friends have them on their bikes, and they seem to like them. Now here's one reason I don't really believe a lot of advertising. This tire has a red dot. I assume a red dot is always indicating the heavy or the light or the medium spot on a tire. Well, the whole problem with this is, I don't know. See, they never tell you. And if you look on the internet, there's a big thing actually put out by Michelin that any tire that needs a red dot, they reject. Well, they didn't reject this one, so I don't know. What I'll do, I'll line that up with the tire valve, make sure I have the rotation right. It's going to actually go the other way. I have to mark the tire on the other side. But this will give me an idea, because I know the rim, what happened when I took the original tire off and put the Michelin, nothing changed. It was exactly the same. So they were either both in balance, had the same lead weight in the same spot on the tire. So we're going to find out. It'll be interesting, but it has an interesting tread pattern. Pretty much, and what's really cool, right on the edge, it's solid rubber, so I don't know if that's good or bad. And I don't know. I know guys have used these on track days, so I don't know. They got little wear things here and things I'm not familiar with. Well, but again, all the advertising and all the product reviews in the world aren't as good as get on a bike, see if you like it, and see how long it lasts. Well, the quartz heater puts out a lot more power than that hairdryer, that's for sure. Yeah, we'll just get it just a little bit warmer. I'll be real happy. But see, now what happens with the quartz heater doesn't heat air, it heats the material itself. So if you just hold the tire there, and of course you got to spend 5 minutes doing this, but I guess. So I established the rotation, and I established where the red dot is. I don't want to cover the red dot up, but I want to be just off to the side so I can still see the dot. And I'll take that into account. I cut the tape ahead of time. Tire is probably not really warm enough to do this efficiently, but you know what? It's kind of like we got to go to war with the army we have. Now the trick is to get 4 pieces of tape on this as conveniently as possible. Squeeze it down a little. This just makes it a little easier. And of course there's a million ways to do tires. I've done it many ways. And it's not real important how you do it, as long as you get it done. Now, this tire seems, it seems like it's a little harder. The carcass is harder. It's a lot more like I shouldn't say. It's a lot more like a Dunlop. The Dunlop's, the carcass is like iron. Now we got to do that 4 times. Put some lube on that side of the tire and mount it up. Now I wanted to show this in real time because this is a relatively cold tire. We took this in from a car that was 40 degrees, and maybe an hour later, or maybe an hour and a half, I really didn't get it warm enough. And this is what happens when a tire is cold. And I thought this would be good to show in real time, because a lot of people right now get frustrated and go grab a tire iron and one of those little rim protectors and then put a nice big gouge in their tire or their rim or something. And so I think by just showing this in real time, And by showing, sometimes you need patience, and you need to have big, strong arms like a gorilla here. But if you don't have the temptation to get that tire iron, you just keep working it, it'll go. Now, if we had this a lot warmer, or a little bit warmer, it would have been a piece of cake. There's my mark, there's my rotation. No tools, no scratches. If there are, shame on me. So before I pull off the tape, I want to get as much of the tire lube off, just to make it a neat job. It's already done its job. And you can see that was a little difficult. But then, you know, like some of them drop right on. I've had them, when I put that tire out in the sun on a 90-degree day, you really don't even need the tape. But today, it's not Florida. It's not California. Okay, next thing is to pull the tape off. Okay, so I've got the valve lined up. That's my marker for the valve. The trick to getting the tape off is to try to get it off in one piece, and for sure, don't leave any in there. Now, it seems like it would be self-evident, but it's not really. Some people don't really understand that. So what you have to do is get this piece up. This is why I can't use gloves when I did. In fact, I need a tool here just to peel this up. I want to show this because this, if you don't know this little trick, it can be a problem. Well, I gotta get my finger down in there. Tire lube. Okay, this is the whole thing in a nutshell. That'll, if you get it right. Once you peel this up and then loosen this, and usually you can just do this. And if it comes out in one piece, you're good to go. So by lining this up with the Curvy Girl, and of course the Curvy Girl changes the balance too. Now I need to just drop this on the ground a few times to set the rim and fire up the compressor. Come on, I want to hear that pop. There we go. All right, what I'll do is I'll put 50 pounds of air in here and then check for leaks. There's the second pop. You can make this go faster. Just turn the compressor up to 100 psi. I don't even bother doing that. So what I do, I put 50 pounds of pressure in just to check that I don't have any bubbles along the rim bead. I'll do this on both sides, of course. Spray out the Curvy Girl just to make sure, and you'll know right away if you see bubbles, you know you got a leak. Now, needless to say, you got to do both sides. One of the things I wanted to mention, John Pothier and I have both already made little concept sketches of how this bike would look with several modifications, including gold wheels, silver wheels, bronze wheels, black wheels, and blue wheels. I'm not so sure the blue isn't going to be the final choice here. Now, I'm old school enough to know what I like to do is let this tire sit overnight and see if it's got exactly the same pressure in the morning as it has right now. I don't see any leaks, and you usually see them right away. It's really not, it's not an easy thing to do when you, if you see a leak, it's pretty obvious. Now, I'm curious about that red dot. If we got it close, it looks like there's no weight's going to go on this wheel. This is as good as it gets. So apparently, maybe there was nothing to learn today. I don't know, but it looks like that's pretty good. I don't think we got to touch that. I don't know where you maybe just wiping it off would make it balance. Yeah, that's real good. Go Michelin 5. All right, now we're going to get to try this out. I'm not going to ride this bike today. I have the other bike set up, and I don't even know if I can ride until Karen tells me if our grandson's coming over. We're late in the day to plan out a ride, but getting this done, I'll get outside and get the bike put back together. So at least if it's a rideable day tomorrow, we'll get to test out the Michelin 5. I have a feeling it'll be good, and the only way I'm going to know is to ride. And other people say things about tires and brakes and this and that, and all of a sudden you think I'm lost in the swim of things. It looks like the only thing I can say about the tire, it mounted up easy. The only thing I can say we should have done better. I could have gotten it a little warmer if I waited to July, but then I wouldn't get to ride the bike. So, and I do like the fact there are no scratches on the rim anywhere. It's like a brand new rim. That's the goal of everything I do with the tires. Now after a quick coffee break, we will go out, put this back together in reverse order. That is a very nice, very efficient tire change, and again, the biggest thing is we haven't scuffed anything up. And for somebody who it might really matter, it was free. So the mounting went great, and the coffee tastes great. That's the key to a good tire install. So today our first set of planters came for Karen, and this is what they look like. We're going to be putting, we got 3, we have room for 5, so, and hopefully the end of that snow is going to melt very soon. Boy, are we jumping a gun here or what? And the day really never got any a lot warmer. There's a little tip that I use just to make this going on a little bit easier. Just one little brush of wheel bearing grease here. It just may, and a little bit on a carrier. It just makes this slide in just a little bit better. Sometimes you need to just finish it up. Perfect. Now the best tip is to get a little bit of wheel bearing grease on that spacer so it doesn't keep dropping out before you actually start pushing this through. The rest of it, pretty straightforward. So in reality, this is a relatively easy tire change and bike to take apart and put back together. Unlike some bikes that it really gets to be a two-man job, this one is pretty easy. Not a big thing. The only thing I've found that's worthwhile is that little thing, the bushing on the other side that wants to jump out. You put a little wheel bearing grease on it, and putting a little bit of wheel bearing grease on this carrier, it just makes it effortless to put it in. It's the only 2 tips I've found that are really worthwhile here. When I do the final chain adjustment, it doesn't even need adjusting. Well, it shouldn't. Changing the tire doesn't change the chain adjustment. Now 1 drop of Loctite on each one of these parts, and we are ready. Now one of the things that'll make this a little bit easier, there's a little detent there that the pads have to snap in. So a lot of times if you don't get this right, you can't get the back bolt to start. So just look at it, and the easiest thing is to stick your finger in there and try to hold up the pads up so they slide into that little notch, and then make sure the bolt don't force anything. Make sure the bolts are already in where they should be. Hand tighten both of them and then put them down to factory spec with a torque wrench. So as a final thing here, I'll lube the chain. The adjustment didn't change, of course. And 2 flat tires and 5,000 miles, I don't know. But both of them I rescued in my own. I did not have to get towed in, so I guess I should be thankful. Anyway, I am just as thankful as can be that I found that nail. Now, and I'm kind of excited about trying the number 5s, because I've read all kind of things. I've watched videos on YouTube. People rave about them, but again, the biggest thing we'll find out. So it was truly one of those days, you can't make it up. I started out thinking I'm going to ride, pulling nails out of tires. Hey, got to see the people at Circle Cycle anyway. Now, the final joy of everything is knowing this is done. This is behind me now. Kind of unexpected, but it really, I like having it behind me, not ahead of me. It's a relatively straightforward job to change your tire. If you can get the tire warm enough, it'll just flop right on. You don't have to go chiseling away with tools and hammers and everything. I don't know how lucky you can be. I feel lucky that this happened in my garage, and not up in a tundra there, that's for sure. Anyway, lucky things, we have the healthcare workers protecting us. Thank you guys. I get my shot a week from now. I am so looking forward to it. Karen and I are scheduled together. Thank you for keeping us safe through this past year. I can't thank you enough. The sign in front of my house says it all. Thank you, healthcare heroes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you don't have any flat tires. That's something to think about. And I hope you did enjoy watching this debacle that this day turned into. And tomorrow we should be able to get out on the open road, I hope. Or if we can't, we're going to be doing some other project. We try to post something up every day. So again, thanks so much for watching. Now, every day in my life is a little bit different than the day before. Today was really pretty different. I don't know how different it gets, better or worse, but we do try to share it every day, whether it's a good day, a bad day, or a day we go over the handlebars, or the day we hit the lottery. But it's always relating something to motorcycles, something in our family, something good information we might be able to pass on to you. Maybe we'll save you a nail in a tire or a nail in your coffin. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy the video. I enjoy making them. I enjoy editing them. And I enjoy the fact that the group of friends I've been able to make through these videos is just a wonderful part of my life. Maybe it's a wonderful part of your life too. We do enjoy sharing things, good, bad, and personal. So I hope you did enjoy the video. Thanks so much for watching.